show. That is the Mario Mena Band, everybody. Also, be sure to check us out on Twitter at Dan Vega Host. And if you want to be part of our live audience, go to thedanvegashow.com and go to the Contact Us, and we'd love to have you be a part of the audience. Now, I'm here with Judith Joy, and Judith, we've been talking about your book, Surviving Your Teenager and Being Happy Anyway. I know this thing was only out a couple of weeks and it became bestseller, and there's got to be some real meat to this. I've actually read it personally, which I don't get to read a lot of extra books. I have a curriculum that I stick to, but I was really into this book, and I'm going through a lot of this right now myself, so it's really made me think about myself a little bit. I hate to say that, but there's some points that you might not normally consider when raising children and how to focus on yourself. Now, I want to ask you, you talk a lot about finding your truth. Can you expand a little bit on that? Isn't truth, right? Well,
things are only true until they're not.
Okay.
When the earth was made, it was round, but everybody thought that it was flat.
Right.
So people thought, this is truth, it's flat. And then somebody discovered it wasn't.
Okay.
Someone discovered it was
So at the time when we thought the earth was flat, that was a truth because the general perception was it's flat.
They perceived it as a truth.
Right. Okay. Which ultimately makes it somewhat of a truth. Am I way off here?
Yeah,
I'm going to have to get some coaching behind the scenes.
It's a reality. Yeah,
okay.
They base everything they do on that reality or on that truth.
Okay.
So they didn't sail to the end of the earth.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's kind of like, I always think of like the stock market or the money market. It's really not based on the actual facts. Sometimes it's speculation, but there's so much speculation about what's going to happen, it makes it so. It becomes truth.
If enough people believe something, it becomes their reality.
Yeah, it becomes a morphic field.
Yeah, and talk briefly about royalty days.
Ooh, it's my favorite. As you know, I'm into philanthropy.
Yes.
So what we're doing is we're taking all of the royalties that I earned from the book and donating it to charity.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Now, the way I was planning on doing it was that I was just going to quietly donate it. But my fiance was like, no. And so what we're doing is we're actually contacting 501c3s, which are nonprofits that benefit children.
Okay.
And we're asking them to promote the book. And then they have 4 days to do it. And then in those 4 days, any book that's sold, they get the profits from.
So if we have a 501c3 out there watching and they're dealing with children,
yes.
Then they can actually get involved, promote the book for 4 days, and the royalties, partial royalties from those 4 days go to them?
All my royalties.
All the royalty. Wow, there you have it. So get involved, and you can actually have several charities participating then, right?
We hope to have every 4 days.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's very generous of you. And the book, it says, I want to ask you, I kind of found this as a new thought, that viewpoint, we talked about this a little bit, but can you really trust your gut? As an entrepreneur, I've kind of learned to trust my gut. And I think that from what I get, that's a good thing to develop your own intuition. But can you just have a bad intuition? I mean, can everybody do that? Or is it, I know some people's viewpoints are pretty strange.
It's a matter of paying attention to yourself. And when you pay attention to yourself and your body, you're going to get little dings. If your kids say, well, I'm going to whatever party, and you get a little ding, and you're going,
Something don't sound right.
Something isn't right here.
Yeah.
It's logical that they're going to the party. They may be dressed right for going to the party, but something's not going on. Pay attention to that little ding.
That little voice that we have.
Yeah.
And one thing that struck me kind of different in this book is you talk about just choosing happiness. And I know in the business world, a lot of times that we talk about success as a mindset, that you just make a decision that I'm going to be successful. But in terms of happiness, can you actually just choose success?
You can choose to
choose happiness.
You can choose to be unhappy.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's true.
So why can't you choose to be happy? It's just different roads to get there.
So happiness is the overcoming of the problem towards that goal. And if you overcome the problem, you're happy. And if you don't, you're unhappy.
Right.
That's basic. Yeah, we spoke about it earlier. Yeah. So, yeah, she's very smart.
Let me ask you this. What do you want the people that read this book, what do you want them to really take away from the book as a message? Because I feel like this is kind of one of those books like a Think and Grow Rich, and even though it's a different genre, this has the sustainability to be out there for really decades. I feel like as one of those staple books, you know, that you're going to see over and over and over. What are the readers that are picking up this book, and I suggest you pick it up, what do you want them to really take away from the book?
Teenagers are going through a stage. They're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to figure out what works for them. And in this process, they're going to make mistakes. And it's about letting them make their mistakes, being there to support them, and then you're living your life. And you get to make all these decisions about your life. And you can choose to be happy, and they can choose to be in the trauma drama of all the teenage years. And that you can go, oh, that's an interesting point of view, or that's a nice way of looking at it, or I wouldn't do it that way, but if you choose to, go ahead. But their trauma drama doesn't have to become your trauma drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can experience other viewpoints, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where can we find more information?
SurvivingYourTeenager.com. On Facebook, it's Judith Joy Author. And on Twitter, it's Yes with Joy.
Yes with Joy on Twitter. And I know that you really just Google Judith Joy. She's everywhere. I know the book also just came out on ebook.
Yes.
There's no excuse. It's a must read. You got to pick it up, Surviving Your Teenager and Being Happy Anyways. Judith, thank you so much for coming by. I'm sure this is the first of many bestsellers. Please come back. I also want to give a special thanks to my dear friend Ezra for co-hosting.
Thank you.
And the Mario Mena Band. You guys were hot tonight. Hot, hot, hot. Please come back. And then also, my dear friend, Laquan Jones. Laquan, everybody, please come back. That's our show. Don't forget to get involved in your local community.